Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of Breaking S.A.D. I'm here with one of my favorite people in the universe. Member of the band Sticky Fingers, the Lulu Rays, his new band FPOS with Dan from Sticky Fingers, with Pat from Sticky Fingers, sorry. I really did my research for this. Member of the band OUTLiER over the years, has come and gone playing with us. We've done some really fun things together. He was also partially responsible for OUTLiER breaking up, but we don't hold any grudges here.
He brings it up every time though. Every time.
So my first question, why are you a bad person and how do you sleep at night?
I sleep terribly and I think I know why.
So this is Hrubyj-Piper. Hrubyj-Piper.
Hrubyj?
How do you pronounce that?
Just Ruby.
Hrubyj-Piper.
You should know this. It's been like 15 years.
Hey, I just always called you the T-Bone.
That's true.
So Taras, welcome. Thanks for talking to me today.
No problems, James. You sort of sprung it on me as well. I was like, just in the air, I was like, oh, come over. And then I'm like, he's got a sign up there with like points. I'm like, why is my name up there? What? He's like, we're doing it.
We're doing it. It's happening.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, you could have said no.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it's scary doing this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It is like scary, and that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to do it. Is these are things that people in general and guys in particular don't necessarily always talk about.
Yeah, totally.
It's a bit faux pas.
Yeah.
We don't wear our hearts on our sleeves usually.
Yeah.
And
it's really good you're doing this.
Our lives on social media are always the glamorous stuff. So I wanted to show people maybe some of the stuff of the music industry we don't like to brag about.
You know, I never believe social media though. I never look at something and just judge that someone's real. Like there's like one person I have on social media, I'm like, she actually seems really good. And that's it.
There's so many filters and things that it can all go through before it gets to what's actually out there. So you do never know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it's unhealthy in a lot of ways to look at it and judge yourself based on that, or be competitive against people on that. You don't know if that video that they posted was the first take of what they were playing, or if
do you though? Because I don't really like ever judge myself on that stuff. I'm very much like more and more like we're going to talk about it a lot more, but like with music and stuff like that, more and more I just don't mind being more and more normal and not having like crazy Instagram stories and like all these adventures. And when I see other people's, I don't really like, it doesn't wow me as much. I'm like, I just think you just want to be really content, peaceful, you know?
Well, how old are you now?
32.
32,
oh, boy.
So I'm 34. I'm at the same sort of place where if one of my friends, Dan Ma, played guitar with Adam Lambert, who's in Queen. You know, Adam Lambert was one of my favorite singers and he's in Queen. And you know, maybe 10 years ago, me would have been so jealous and like really wanted to get that gig. But 34-year-old me saw that and I was filled with such happiness that like one of my friends is out there killing it.
That's really good.
I think that comes with time and
totally.
One of those rules for life we were just talking about is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. So. And you never know what's going on in someone else's life, that they might be killing it in one area of their world, but they might be really struggling in some other areas. So it's just really not healthy to compare and compete.
You know what, really though, I think a lot of people have that problem where they compare themselves to other people. I think I'm just hard on myself. That's my one. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, I like that one rule. I can't remember what, it was something like, treat yourself like someone
you are responsible for helping.
I was like, okay, that's nice.
So that
one resonates.
That rule is all about that people treat sometimes other people or even treat their pets better than they treat themselves.
Totally.
For example, if you go to the vet and the vet gives you a prescription, you're gonna get that prescription filled and you're gonna take it to your dog and you're gonna do exactly what you're supposed to do.
True.
But a lot of the times you'll go to the doctors and
you won't even go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you won't even go. Or you'll get your prescription and people don't get them filled. So it's like, why don't you start treating yourself and caring about yourself as much as you worry about as other people. So that's important.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about. We haven't even done the intro.
We haven't even got to the script.
Yeah.
So back to the intro. Taras has been absolutely So we had our band together for many years and did our original things, and then we kind of diverged and went our separate ways.
Yeah.
He went more into behind the scenes, the songwriting, producing side of things, and I went into the live performance world. But he's absolutely been killing it as a songwriter. Sticky Fingers, I'm sure you guys have heard of them. He puts his pants on one leg at the time, just like the rest of us, but now he makes gold records. Went over to his house recently and saw a gold record, gold ARIA up on the wall.
You can just buy them though at the shop.
Caress your soul.
You don't really have to be part of it to have fun.
You heard that.
Yeah,
one.
I did own that one actually.
Yeah, so I guess my first point of talking about was the divergence that we've had, and you've really focused your energy on being in the studio and the songwriting side of things. So I guess I wanted to ask why. I mean, you just showed me a photo of you with Sticky Fingers where you, was a couple of months ago?
Yeah, at the Kudos Bank Arena.
So he just played to 16,000 people with Sticky Fingers. So he's still somewhat a part of the band, but you're somewhat of a silent member in a way.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it ties in with everything. I used to play in the band when we started it all together, and then around when I was like 20, I was just really depressed. I was really unhappy, and I couldn't party. Like, I didn't like being in pubs, and I didn't like all that lifestyle. And so I talked to him. I was like, hey, I think I want to stop playing live with you guys. I want to sort of quit the band because I just really wanted, I just started meditating. I was like, okay, this seems to be like the feeling I need to do. And I've always been pretty lucky that there's always, no matter how hard things, there's always just the way forward, the part. And I'm never like, oh my God, I could, this band's doing well, I should stay in it. It's always if I don't feel like it, I'll just stop.
So that thing that you describe as the way forward or the path, what is that to you? Is that you knowing this, I have to do this?
You know what? It's not knowing I have to do this. It's more knowing sometimes it's knowing what I can't do as well. It's knowing.
So you see the multiple paths, and
yeah.
You know the ones that you're not going to go down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I can't. I'm just so unhappy playing live and being so. Everything's so crazy, and I didn't have a solid foundation in myself.
So when you, say for example, looked at a list of tour dates that were coming up and all these commitments, did that fill you up with anxiety and a bit of dread?
Yeah, and just also knowing that I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it as well.
So do you know why you weren't enjoying playing live and the idea of all this?
Well, it's just because I was depressed, and for me, depression is a lack of feeling. I usually don't get it's not really deep sadness. Anything. Well, it's just a numbness.
Depression would be the inability to experience joy.
Yeah.
And anxiety would be stress without a particular reason or motivation.
And I don't think I'm not really as anxious. I'm not an anxious-y sort of person. Although maybe I am. It's just it's in there and I'm not experiencing it. But I'm more
So, do you think you were? So you said you didn't want to tour because you were depressed. But do you think that shows had anything to do with the depression? Or
No, not really. Because it sort of started a bit before. And I think...
So you didn't want to be there if you weren't going to enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly. And and also I wanted, I literally, after I stopped playing live with Stickies, I pretty much meditated every day for hours and hours, and
Was that just your own teaching?
No,
yourself,
I had well, let me tell the story. So I stopped with Stickies, and it was really nice because the day I took Pat aside, who's my main friend in the band, I was like, hey, look, I want to stop. And he was like, dude, I totally get it. It's really cool what you're doing. I'd love it if you would still be part of the band in some ways, because I love writing songs, and it's always what I've loved more than performing live. And I was like, of course. And the great thing about Pat, he's such a great guy, is that you normally would just say that, and then you'd go your separate ways, and then that's it. Do you know what I mean? But he actually really called me up every time there was a recording session, or called me up every time he's like, let's write some songs. And so that has been a really fruitful and beautiful situation through.
It's great.
So it's been so nice. It's been so good. And now we live together.
I think that's really important. We were just talking off camera about past girlfriends we've had and trying to not hate our exes, but
Yeah.
keep them in our lives for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Keep our friendships, and you and I are a testament to that.
Yeah.
When our band OUTLiER split up, and you kind of stayed with them, and then you eventually left with them, split from them.
Yeah.
But for some reason, you and I never had any toxicity.
No,
with
there
each
was
other.
never. And I think that's more on your part.
Well,
it was really nice.
Quite amazing.
You're an incredible guy, huge guns. But I always thought about that because, you never really. I wonder why. I think maybe because like, I don't think there was any like I didn't think there's any. There was no maliciousness on my part. I think maybe the other boys it was a bit more tense.
Yeah. Well, them and I. They and I had already had 10 years or so together.
Yeah.
You were somewhat new into the equation, so there was a lot of probably built up toxicity you were stepping into.
Yeah, but that was it's really nice that we like. It just felt, we never you were never angry at me at all, even though like all that shit went down. Yeah, because it sort of wasn't like. I just remember we had a conversation. There was a gig that was coming up, and I think like I didn't want the band to break up.
No, it wasn't your decision.
No, it wasn't really mine. Maybe that's why as well. It was just like so pretty much what happened is I joined OUTLiER, and then doing a lot of like they wanted to start doing a different type of music and music that the other guys were writing.
Yeah. And
it was like totally different to what OUTLiER was. Hey?
Yeah. It was influenced
like,
by what you were bringing with the synth and the keys.
Yeah.
And the digital. I think the presets and bands like that were coming out at that time.
Yeah.
So it's like getting influenced by that electronic side of things.
And then I quit that band pretty soon after anyway.
Yeah.
Because they were mean to me.
And I even after a lot of
I like them though. I really like them.
After a lot of resentment, I had no hard feelings towards the boys, but they chose to sort of ostracize me from their lives. Which whatever
floats their boat.
Whatever floats their boat. Yeah. But okay, so back to you and your sticky fingers.
Yeah. So
you guys stayed in contact, had no unhealthy, and it's great that he took sort of your leaving so well, because a lot of times, as we say, that doesn't happen.
I think just because I think I'm never leaving anything in a bad way, not angrily. It's like I explained why. I was like, I'm just not really happy right now. I need to do this for myself, and they really got that. So it was sort of really easy, and I think it was for the best, really. I don't know how. I don't think I would have ruined their chances, but I'm not really front man rock star material. Do you know what I mean? Even though I'd like to be sometimes. And so I think it's just iconic who they are now. So it's it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. I don't think. Yeah. But yeah, so it's been really good. I mean, we can go two ways. I'll still talk about Steve's, but it's been really good writing with them, and just been doing some demos for potential 5th album, and a lot of other stuff happening. It's really nice. And
you live with Pat, who's the bass player.
He's the bass player, and
get along well with him.
Yeah.
Started a new project with
I think
him.
it's nice as well because I've known him since high school, and I think
you go to high school together.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's how we became friends, and I think it's important, especially for someone for a band that's that big, because they're huge. It's good for him to have someone like me who's known him before that, because
huge.
You get the amount of not that they do them as much anymore, but they'll just get handed drugs. I remember once I went to their place 5 years ago where they were living, and someone had just sent them from Tasmania 100 tabs of acid.
Wow.
Just 100 tabs. That's so many.
Just someone who was a fan.
Someone who was a fan.
I'm a fan.
Went out of their way.
And I'm a drug dealer.
Here you go. And it came in the post, and people would just walk in the house and put a tab in their fucking randoms and shit, because there's so much. No one gave a shit.
Jesus. Okay.
Fuck. So it's good having. I always think about that because, I'm not always, with friends you don't always tell the truth, But I try and be as no bullshit as possible.
Well, the thing that starts happening when you're at their sort of level,
you get yes men.
Yes men. People start not telling you what you need to hear, but just what you want.
But do you know what else? You know what the worst is, and this is what I found. It's not only there are yes men, but you personally only want to listen to the yes men. Do you know what I mean?
You start seeking out the people that give you the validation that you want.
dude, that's not always like, you don't know that person. That's just a random comment on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't matter what they think, really. So, yeah.
No, it's good to have someone like that's attached to your roots. You're not gonna piss on his leg and tell him it's raining, as Judge Judy would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good, man.
Yeah.
So you touched on the meditation thing. So since I've known you, you've done these Indian spiritual retreats with people like Ben Lee and some other artists that have gone over there as well.
Yeah. Heaps of people have gone. So pretty much, so around the time like I quit Stickies and I was like really unhappy and I started meditating, and I went to India with this meditation teacher. So it was really funny because I was on the bus. Okay, so this is what happened. I was on the bus one day and I was going back from my girlfriend at the time, and I was like just going home, and I was like just sitting there, and for some reason I just started thinking about my heart. This was before I was meditating. I was just thinking about my heart, and then all of a sudden like something like felt like it cracked, and I was like, oh my God, I am really depressed. And I hadn't like realized it because like you always try, like everyone's like, you got to put on a happy face and you got to like smile and like stay positive. And I don't always know if that's a good thing. Like you need to feel, and sometimes the feelings aren't pleasant. And I was very good at like, I'm still very good at not feeling things, like
repressing.
Yeah, it's just so natural to do. Like, and so I have to. That's why I meditate to.
And that's the thing that you're good at that you don't want to be good at.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was on the bus and I had like, I'd say like a bit of a nervous breakdown. Like I didn't go crazy or anything, but like for 2 weeks straight, I would be sweating every night. I'd have to change sheets like 5 times. Like a real physical thing happened.
So panic attacks?
No, not panic attack. I wouldn't say panic attacks, but like, it's like all...
Heart palpitations? Was it?
Yeah, no, not really. It was more that I feel like there was a lot of deep like anxiety and stuff that I'd pushed deep down that had coming out. Okay. And I couldn't stop it.
Floodgates were open.
And so I didn't really have like panic attacks, but I was in a constant state of panic. Like it felt really anxious and shit.
You said you're thinking of your girlfriend and then you felt like...
No, I was going back home from my girlfriend's.
Okay.
So
but was it to do with the relationship?
Nah, not at all.
So you were having this massive awareness of feelings in your life that you hadn't been aware of. Yeah. And they were all coming to the surface.
Yeah. And it was so hard, but that exact same day or a day after, my brother was like, hey, we lived on this block, and he's like, just a few houses down.
This is Marco,
my brother. He's like, hey, he saw me because I was shaking in bed and like everything was like fucked. And he's like, I met this meditation teacher who lives on our block and we've been going surfing and stuff. Maybe you want to go see him. And so I went and saw him and it was really good.
Yeah, you just had one session.
No, well, from then on, like I saw him for the next like 5 years.
Okay.
Like we did, and then my brother was also like, just all these things fell into place sort of thing. My brother's like, hey, also he's invited me to go to India because he's doing a documentary about like kids or young people who are feeling like not good, and like how India and meditation can help them. And I was like, well, that sounds like exactly what I need to do. And my brother is such a like happy guy. He was sort of there he was going not because he needed it, more to be like the fun, happy spirit. Mm-hmm. So I went over to India and meditated a lot, and it was so good for me. And like, to be honest,
you've just been over there once?
No, I've been 3 times now. This second time I went for like 4 months, and then the third time for not as long, but pretty much always just to meditate. And I really look at that, like, I wish that like nervous breakdown shit happened more sometimes, because in the moment it sucks, but if you're healthy with it, it's like a really good way to like it's a way where just you have to deal with your shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And because I'm so good at like suppressing stuff, it's relentless, you're like, I gotta deal with it. And it's like, good, thank you. Because afterwards I felt incredible. Yeah. And then you slowly like, I've been meditating ever since. So I'm 32 now. That was when I was like 19 or 20. Mm-hmm. So pretty much like, not every day, but like pretty much at least 5 days a week, pretty much for 12 years. And
Do you use an app now or anything, or do you just
no, not really. You
just
sort
do it on
of,
your own?
and I think I probably should use an app more, or like.
Well, there wouldn't have been apps back in those days, but
It was a while ago, mate.
But yeah,
I did have a like MP3 meditation.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. There weren't apps, but there was like MP3s.
still got your iPhone 6, by the way.
Yes, it's iPhone 5.
iPhone 5? Sorry.
I'm sorry to everyone here as well.
No, I haven't upgraded to the 6 just yet.
Not yet. I'm saving up my pennies.
I got pulled over for RBT the other day, and before he administered the RBT, he's like, "Is that an iPod?" I've got an iPod Velcro too. So I'm still with you on the vintage technology.
Yeah, of course.
Vintage digital technology.
Did he put you in cuffs after that? I'm so sorry, sir. That is really not up.
We're getting sidetracked.
Yes, yeah.
So since I've been doing a couple of these interviews, one of the things that the questions or one of the observations that really comes into my mind is we like to think that we have free will, freedom of speech. We like to think we're in control of our own destiny, but then you really think about it, the amount of range of emotions that you feel throughout the day. You might wake up feeling depressed. You might wake up feeling hungry, horny, amazing, sad. You might see something online and react to. People are hugely more susceptible to negative emotion than positive emotion.
Yeah.
So you might see something online that ruins your day or makes your day.
Yeah.
There's so many thoughts and emotions that pop into our heads that we have zero control over.
Yeah.
Result of environmental, chemical, dietary, so many influences. So the thing I want you to maybe expand on is what does meditation bring to all these? I mean, is it essentially a way of trying to silence those or be aware of them?
Pretty much. I think that my own meditation teacher said like we have upwards of like 20,000 different thoughts a day.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true. That sounds like a lot. I did the math on it. It was like 40 a second or something. So I was like, maybe not. But like, we have a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you even think about just little minor things that pop in and out
and
of your head.
like different things at the same time. But pretty much, for me, meditation is a few things. Number one is like, it's a way of relaxing and letting go, pretty much. Like, if you can just relax into everything, it feels a lot better. I find that a lot of thoughts come from, not just because they're thoughts, they come usually from a place of feeling. So like, if there's something that you're not feeling correctly or like letting it express itself, it'll manifest itself as a thought. But also, meditation is, let's start with the thoughts. Meditation is a way of, you let the thoughts happen and you don't latch onto them. So I remember...
Let them pass.
You let them pass. So I remember when I was like younger, didn't really know about it, like I'd be on a train and like, you might get a thought like, hey, you should hit that guy in the head. Do you know what I mean? Or you should like, why don't you move your feet a bit? Do you know, like something random. Do you know what I mean? And I'd normally be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like I'd react. I'd be like, no, I don't, why would I hit that? You know what I mean? You like talk back.
Yeah.
But this thought isn't like any consciousness. It's like a weird loop sort of thing. And so when you learn to notice it and not do anything to it, after a while, it starts to dissipate. And then something else will come up. And then subtler things come up, like really subtle thoughts that you like don't realize, like, oh, maybe you should like call that girl that you've been, but like you don't really think about it. You're just like, oh fuck, I wonder what that girl's doing.
Her name might pop.
Yeah, her name, and so you're just constantly like letting those thoughts come in, and then you let them, like you don't push them away or try and take them out or anything like. It's really hard to do that. Like. That's why they call meditation a practice, because you never really truly get there. You just got to keep. It takes like effort, but also no effort. Like it's. I think that's why they always talk about, like, you always hear symbols like the yin and yang, up and down, like qigong, the qi, and it's all about like connecting to the up and the down, because it's this weird middle ground of you're trying but you're not trying at all. You're like working but you're not working at all. You're focusing on things, but you're also not focusing, because focusing can also make you quite tense. So from a thought perspective, it's just about finding that place between the thoughts where there's just calmness.
Between order and chaos.
Yeah, exactly. And then feeling-wise, a lot of meditation is for me, it's about getting in touch with how I feel, like if I'm like, whatever the feeling is. Usually it's not always an emotion, it's just like an uncomfortable, like, I guess an anxiousness in some ways. It's just uncomfortable. And the more that I like feel into that, sometimes like I burp a lot when I meditate. So like, I'm gonna burp now.
I just did.
Did you?
Yeah.
So like, when I'm like focusing on myself, I'll feel like parts of myself that feel blocked or not feeling. And if I focus on them, I'll start to burp because like they
Like
sort of dissolve.
Your body needs some sort of release from.
Yeah, it's not like not everyone does it, but it's not unheard of. Lots of people have physical releases of stuff.
Bit of a disgusting story, but a mate of mine says that anytime he flies anywhere, he can't stop farting.
Really?
And a lot of people have flight anxiety.
Yeah, maybe it's totally.
But no other situation in his life.
Yeah. Well, that's the same sort of thing. It's just the opposite. Mine's more. Well, I guess he's cleansing.
Yeah.
And then I guess those are the two main things what I use meditation for, and it's such a fine line doing meditation correct. In fact, that's why I like that say look after yourself, like there's someone, because a lot of the time when I meditate now, I really focus on just thinking I'm a legend and like I'm just a good guy and like it's all right. I do a lot of work. I'm not like, I was brought up a Catholic or Christian, but I'm not Christian. Like I'm not like, but I work at a church every playing the hymns every Sunday.
Still Father John?
No, he's gone, thank God.
Oh.
But I go to
ironic choice of words.
Another. I go to the one at Wayside Chapel in King's Cross, which is quite famous.
Okay.
And there's a reverend there, or pastor or whatever, I don't, priest, called Graham Long, and he is so incredible. And even though like I'm not Christian, you can still get a lot from the way he speaks. And he's not like a very Christian like he's just a very spiritual person. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes he's like, you know what, you're all right. Like he brings God, he's like, God thinks you're right. And when you do a lot of meditation, no matter what the meditation, you sometimes think about the higher power, or like a higher power, if that's the universe for you, if that's Mother Nature, but something that's above you, because when there's something above you that is like that you can visualize, even like you don't have to believe in God or anything, but humans are predisposed to seemingly to like something that's above you. And if you can imagine that having good intentions, you just relax. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'm just like, I'll meditate and you just think, like one of the meditations you can do is you sit there and you imagine like a warm golden white light just shining down on you. And it's saying it just feels everything's okay. And you relax into that. And it's so pleasant when you actually feel that. Mm-hmm. I think I'm very much into, because I'm not someone like, I don't know what happens when you die. I feel like potentially you cease to exist. Like, I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I think it's really important sometimes to just, I don't know, even like sort of hijack the way that we are. And like I said, it just seems to work when you think that there's something above you that you can give. Like one of the, I went and saw a guru, like that's where I go to meditate when I'm in India, and they have a chant that's Om Namo Narayani, and that's like the main chant. And what that means is I give myself to the divine, mm-hmm. which just means that this too shall pass. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice way to look at things, because you don't get so anxious about trying to control everything, and when feelings come, you let them happen. That's okay. I
love that expression, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
When you said before that you would see the negative emotion or whatever and wait for it to pass, I was thinking of George Harrison's album, All Things Must Pass.
Yeah. Well,
and they obviously famously went to India.
Well, that's all. He was very like influenced by that. All that sort of stuff. Yeah. Buddhism and Hinduism and all that sort of stuff.
So that's a big thing when we do get overly anxious and depressed and stuck in a moment. It's maybe, like you said, a feedback loop that you see in your mind, and you thinking of a situation and you can't mentally get yourself out of that situation, and it cycles, and so just reminding yourself, okay, this will pass.
Yeah, totally.
Let that feeling wash out. Yeah. It's, I mean, much easier said than done, but
it really is. It's actually, I've been meaning to go to a few meditations because I've been meditating by myself for so long. But I think, like what's his name, Arnie says, you got to shock the muscles. You know what I mean? You can't do the same workout all the time. And so like I think I've got to start doing a few other go to a few meditation classes just to shock the system a bit, to be like, oh, here's something new, because it's always different. Like when you do it in a group, when you do it by yourself, when you do it by yourself outside to inside. Well,
one really interesting thing you touched on before, that going through that negative stuff in your life was like quite an awakening for you. One thing that they've sort of recently discovered with psychology is that going through maybe not a traumatic experience, but pushing your body and pushing your mind through difficult experiences unlocks new gene proteins in your brain.
Oh, really? Is this exercise or with anything?
No, this is mentally. So with say if you go through a life-altering injury, or say if you go through a car accident, or you go through some sort of amazing new discovery in your life, or push yourself past somewhere you're mentally not more comfortable. Musically, sport, it can be in any area, but your brain, you are actually physically changing.
Wow.
There's parts of your brain that will grow and expand and change. And people often describe that without knowing. They're like, oh, I feel like a changed man. I feel like something's different.
Yeah, totally.
There's actual physical things that are happening that correspond to that.
That's why we're doing this now, because I didn't really want to do this right now. I was like, oh, it just sort of, I was like, but I'm really happy already that it
feels good, doesn't it?
It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's always, the hardest thing is the starting, isn't it, really? As soon as you do it, you're like, as soon as you get on stage, you're like, actually, it's all right.
Yeah, I distinctly remember like one of my high school teachers telling us that, like, you know, when we didn't want to study or whatever, he would just say, sit down, go to your desk, open the book, and just, because that's the thing, starting.
As soon as you
start. And I think the same with practice, like, I don't want to pick up the guitar
and then you
today.
Just do it,
Just grab the guitar, see what happens.
Yeah.
And the chances are you'll enjoy it, you'll get something out of it. But
same as going to the gym, all that stuff.
Going to the gym, and I mean, and going to the gym, just to touch on that, we're so comfortable talking about physical transformations.
Yeah.
There's so many facilities everywhere, CrossFit, this, that, and the other, for getting our bodies on track. But nobody really, well, not nobody, but we don't really address getting our minds healthy like we do getting our bodies healthy.
You know what? I think I'm pretty lucky. I've always been able to talk about this stuff. I think part of it is, though, for me, it's like, I don't always want to talk about like depression or anything, because it's like, it's not really much anyone can do for me. Do you know what I mean?
Well, a lot of it you do have to find on your own.
Yeah.
Age, wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to find out through pain, unfortunately, a lot of the time, as we talked about.
But really, like, getting depressed at 20 was such a net gain for me. I think that's like when you're talking about how your brain changes when big things happen. It's like, I think also how you then use those changes to like either better yourself or to wallow, or a bit of both.
Yeah, what do you do when they've happened?
I mean, I'm so healthy, like much healthier now because of back then where it was so difficult, but then I made good decisions and like did good things because of that. Do you know what I mean? So like meditated, and I don't party really much at all and never have. And like, but like still now and then, you know, like I'm not like, never touch a good old fashioned drink. I had some Baileys like a few hours ago.
Oh, hey,
like midday. So maybe I need to work on that actually. Yeah, but I'm happy it happened.
Yeah.
Like, cause it was good for me in the end. Like meditation is so good. So good.
And we talked about the relationships that we've been in and out of, and trying to keep them healthy and not hold resentment towards people. So you've had relationships with both musicians, singers that you've worked with, and with people that had normal day jobs. So what are some of the things that you find with having a musician life, being with another muso or being with another non-muso?
I haven't been with a muso since my first girlfriend like 12 years ago, and we weren't like professional musos then.
Is that Caro?
Yeah, Caro. I sort of would love to go out with a muso. I think it'd be fun.
Well, we're both single men, so call
Let's
us.
turn this off.
I meant we could find girls.
I just realised that. Okay.
Awkward.
I'd have to go down. I'd like to go out with a muso though, because I feel like, well, like my last girlfriend, she had a 9 to 5 pretty much. She was a teacher, so I'd wake up at like midday and she'd be gone.
Yeah.
And then I'd be up to like
That's the
2 a.m. But it was fine. I think it was fine.
Sometimes missing someone is great.
It was great.
And
It would have been...
Sometimes it's a problem.
Because I like my
There's
mornings by myself.
There's an in-between ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work out in the future though. I'm trying to get up earlier though, because I don't really need to go to bed so late anymore, because like I used to do a lot of mixing, and when you just record and you get into it, you just keep going. Do you know what I mean? So like, you go to like 2 or 3 a.m. and if you do that enough, and I'm already predisposed to being a night owl, it's like...
A lot of us are.
Yeah. I'm reading a book about sleep actually, and it's like people who are night owls but don't have jobs that are conducive for that struggle. So like...
Struggle in what way?
Well, like, there are people that are just night owls. Like, it comes from like when we used to live in tribes and stuff. If there was like half the people awake, while like, you know, if some people go to bed at 9 p.m. and then some people are still awake up till 3 a.m., then there's only a few hours where everyone's asleep. And then those people that went to bed earlier wake up at like, you know, dusk, 5 a.m. or something. So like, there's always someone around that's awake.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they think we have like night owls. People
Would they be like primitively the better times to hunt or something?
No, it's just like, if there's lots of danger around, you know, there's things that are trying to kill you. If there's always someone awake to just keep an eye on shit.
Someone was watching guard.
Yeah, then right. It's like, it's natural, just like someone's just naturally up. But now, because our society is so skewed to like 9 to 5,
mm-hmm.
people really struggle when they're like not actually built to go to bed like early. Because I'm not. I love the mornings, but I'm just naturally can go to bed.
Yeah, I find for whatever reason that between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. the most creative parts of the brain seem to be alive. Yeah. Do you find yourself doing a lot of writing?
But not as well. Sometimes you can't because it's so late, and you're like, I don't want to make noise. But that's where a lot of ideas come. The quietness of everything's so quiet. Hey, you're like, okay. Probably
a lot of the distractions of the outside world start stopping because a lot of people are. Your phone's not going off as much. Also, I just feel like it's just a magical time, isn't it? Like everything's just so soft, and you're like, okay. Sunlight's gone. Yeah, so it's an interesting one. Our sleep pattern and our lifestyle, and it's probably, I don't know if it's cost me other relationships, but it has been a problem with 9 to 5ers because you might be ships passing in the night sometimes.
Yeah, well, hopefully my last one was great, but I think I wonder if it'll be a problem in the future. Far out. So did it stuff up some of your relationships?
I think so. Well, I mean, the feeling that you described before about seeing your tour schedule and feeling anxious, that sort of resonated with me. That's the feeling that I got whenever I was with a girl and she started talking about having babies.
Oh, okay.
And so I had to come to the realization that maybe I don't want to be a dad, or maybe at the time I was either not with the right person.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe I wasn't financially stable, or just wasn't excited about that idea of fatherhood coming from an Italian family. That's unusual.
It's big. I'm watching Sopranos. It's like all about the family.
Mate, so in order for my parents to have my older sister, the firstborn, they basically got bribed by my grandparents, I think 10 or 20 grand, because they weren't starting a family because they weren't financially stable yet. And so my nonnas were like, we give you $10,000, you make baby.
Really?
And they did. So my sister is the $10,000 baby. It's a true story. So that's the heritage that I'm coming from.
That is so funny that they want kids that bad.
They wanted a grandchild. Yeah.
It's funny because did they, not saying that they didn't want a grandchild, but was it just so much cultural push for them to have it as well? Do you know what I mean?
My parents?
No, the grandparents. Did they just Because like I know parents that want kids, but they're not gonna pay their kids to have it. I'm sure there's like a culture like they need to have kids.
I should ask. I mean,
find out.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Make an addendum.
I know the story, but why did they want them so badly? I mean, I guess it's legacy. Like that same grandmother, she passed away recently, and obviously me and my sister.
Not your mum's mum, no.
My dad's mum.
Okay.
And my mum's mum's still around, Nonna Serena. Dad's mum passed away recently, and she had been so unhappy since her husband passed, since my nonna passed. And me and my sister have not been able to provide her with a great-grandchild, but my cousin on the other side has. I honestly hadn't seen her smile in about 10 years, and when she saw her great-granddaughter, which is, her name's Hrubyj, my cousin's firstborn, so the first great-grandchild that's been born into our family, it was a new lease on life.
Really?
So I imagine that having grandchildren the first time around with my sister, I mean, something to that effect.
Yeah.
They want to know that their legacy is being carried on.
That's so cute.
I don't know the exact motivations, but I know that it gave her a new sense of being. Because you do find that a lot of elderly people, once their partner passes,
they don't have much to live for.
They have heartbreak, and soon
after
their body says that gives out on them. So that was kind of a big moment for our family.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I'm getting welled up here.
Yeah. Are you?
A little bit.
Oh, what nonna was this? What was
that? Was Nonna Rosa.
Oh, Nonna Rosa.
Yeah, my Nonna Serena. She's still around.
Oh, I love Nonna Serena.
I think the very first time Taras came over to my house, it did not make a good impression because he fell asleep on the couch, knocked over a vase
in the middle of the night, and it smashed everywhere. And I didn't know I didn't really know James. He'd messaged me on MySpace saying,
that's how old we are.
Come over if you want to be in a band. So I went over and I was like, I was too scared to wake anyone up, so I just left all the shards. And then in the morning I woke up to his mum with the vacuum, boom, boom, right into like my side because she was vacuuming, and I was like, oh, no, I just pretended to sleep.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. She didn't like me for a while after that. But now I think she forgot, or she just likes me now.
She loves you. How can anyone not like you?
Of course.
Man, I think we've covered heaps of...
We did a lot,
heaps of ground today.
Easy.
We're up to 40 minutes, which is double my previous podcast. Yeah. But I think we can touch on...
We've got more... I wouldn't mind going like a bit more...
Man, we could go...
Focused. It could actually like maybe, I don't know, more like methods and stuff to do so that it can like... for people to do at home, because... Well,
my final question was going to be maybe some suggestions for young people in the songwriting game, because you've obviously absolutely killed it in that area. You've got loads of great connections, collaborators, people from Evermore, people from Sticky Fingers, great artists that you work with. So if someone out there is maybe feeling like songwriting is so tricky, like what are some things you could say to them?
You know, more and more like all I care about in songs is if it's got heart, and if that heart is yours. And like, I know it's like you hear it a lot, but like even nowadays I'm still like scared of like letting myself like expressing myself through songs. It's really hard to do. Really hard to do truth. And I think even if the truth sometimes comes out really cornily, if it's truth, it resonates. Do you know what I mean? So like, I always have to try and stop myself from changing things that I don't think I like, because usually the things I don't like are the ones that are like, I don't realize that they're the honest bits that come out.
Yeah.
Also like, collaboration is really good if you can find someone that you work well with. And like Pat from Stickies is a great example. He is such a giver when he collaborates. He's never like niggling over percentages or anything. Like literally if you're like over in the room, he's like, yeah, you're part of the song, it's all split evenly. Do you know what I mean?
Great.
And I think that is one of the huge reasons why they've gone so well, because he loves the process. He doesn't care about money at all. You know?
And someone,
ego. There's some ego, but like
someone to bounce off.
And that's what me and him do really well. Other things are like lyrics can be hard to write, but you can do things called vowel movements. Do you know what I mean? So like you can do like.
Oh, I'll just grab this guitar.
Oh, this is
The
pretty
most expensive
nice.
one, by the way.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
So like, you got some chords. You could just go, and you record it, and you just say shit.
Nonsense words.
But when you listen back, usually you'll find fragments.
Mm-hmm.
David Byrne from Talking Heads, that's pretty much the only way he writes.
Yep. And well, Paul McCartney famously Yesterday.
Oh yeah.
The
scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like
The
that.
original lyrics. He had the tune in his head. Scrambled eggs. Oh my darling, how I miss your legs. Or something.
Yeah,
Just
that's it. Yeah.
Something nonsense like that. But yeah, ended up turning into something
incredible, right?
Completely different.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess it's what we talked about before. It's like just start.
Just start.
Just do it.
100%.
Yeah, you got an idea in your head. Okay.
That is a big one as well. I don't really subscribe to like you need to feel good to write a song. Most of the time I'm writing songs, it's a struggle.
Well, and it's your job now, so
Yeah.
you
just got to do it.
Yeah, you got to
and
treat it as
always
such.
when you come back the next day, you're like, that's actually pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it might have given you like sometimes I just have this feeling of I'm like, ugh, this I don't want to do this. I feel like it's like part of the meditation as well. Like you just confront the feelings that are painful or like uncomfortable. That's a few good tips.
Oh man, well, and so what about the next stage? Is like getting those out into the world.
You know what? I found from most of the people that I know that do well, usually they're just really hungry for it.
Mm-hmm.
Really hungry, and they like Limp Bizkit is a good example. I read a bit. Fred Durst was such a hustler, and again, the Sticky Boys, they're such hustlers. Like they got job at the Annandale Hotel because they're like, okay, that's where gigs go. A lot of cool bands. This was like when it was still like a really important place, and they worked their way up into like the booking age, and they started making connections. That's how a lot of shit happens, really.
Yeah, and we talked about before as well, like we're just speaking about girls, but if they don't love themselves, how is somebody else going to love you?
Totally.
And that can, I mean, if you don't believe in yourself if you don't think, hey, this song's really good, people should hear this, or I'm a great player, I should be playing. Why would somebody else want to believe in you?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like all those boys, because like I know the DMA's boys quite well as well. Always at parties, they'll be like, check this out, and they'll put on a song, and it might not be good, but they're like, it's fucking sick, isn't it? It's fucking sick.
Sense of pride.
Real. Yeah. Sometimes like, and it's not usually cocky. I don't find it's not being cocky. It's not like this, like pretend.
And there's a very, very fine line you do have to tread with self-promotion and hustling and asking people for gigs, as you obviously can come across very easily purely narcissistic.
Totally.
And
you know what else is a good point? Know your limits. Like, I think the two most important parts to make it are you need a great voice and a good song. The great voice you know straight away a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean a voice that can sing in tune and can belt. There's something just about certain voices that like...
just distinctive.
Yeah, like lots of people can sing in tune, but it's boring or
they're trying to sound like somebody else on the radio.
Yeah, there's no...
Just the honesty as well, and
truth
in the
helps.
song, truth in the voice. Absolutely.
But like, I'm not someone that's I don't like. You know that really weird like the indie girl
whispery thing that's going on now.
Like they put that weird. I hate that.
Yeah.
So like, some people seem to love that, but I don't like that. If that's what you like, great. But like, you got to be honest if you're not good at singing, or if what you are good at, use that. Do you know what I mean?
But you're a singer, but you don't...
I'm not really a good singer. I know that, though. I knew from... I was like...
And that's one of those
I wish I could sing.
You've sort of played to your limits and your strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
And none of your success has been as a singer, has it?
No, never.
It's come with writing with other people.
But like I had to sing, like not well, but I had to sing to...
Sung on the demos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so accepting some of your limitations if you have them,
and then working on the other ones,
and embracing
that you can
embracing strengths.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. The hustling thing, man. Yeah, like I've pursued like the live performance side of things, but
you're a pretty good hustler, hey.
Well, my gig tonight, for example, is Thursday night karaoke gig with Dario, who's a bass player from the Baby Animals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was always really excited to work with him. And I used to just go down on Thursday night. It was Peter Northcote's gig.
Oh yeah.
So I used to just go down and be starstruck and watch him play and watch him do his thing. I would get up on stage as a karaoke guy.
Yeah.
Sing a song or two, help them with mixing the desk if they needed. Like, just like you described with Stickies at the Annandale, like, just turn up.
Yeah, you just got to turn up. Don't make those connections, yeah.
Well, the 3 rules in the cover music world, and might apply to your world as well, is learn the songs, be on time, don't be a dick.
100%.
And you can also trace things back to just doing those things.
If you're chilled and you're skilled.
Chilled and skilled.
I feel like...
Cut it down to 2, okay.
It's a bit better.
I don't need a third
rule. Chilled and skilled.
More primitive, some might say.
Others not so much.
Chilled and skilled, absolutely. Yep. I mean, that's a great mantra. But yeah, as I was saying, I was just hustling, being nice to everyone, not to suck up, but because I honestly respected these guys a lot.
Totally.
I mean, some of them are twice my age. They've done the hustle. They've done the world tours. They've been around the block. So I really respect these people.
Yeah.
And when I stand on stage next to a Dario or whoever it might be, I just want to be a sponge and absorb whatever.
Totally.
Musically, whatever they can offer me, and mentally and spiritually, whatever I can learn from them. But yeah, that Thursday night gig, after months and months of hustling and persistence, has ended up being sort of somewhat my gig. I'm the second choice fill-in for a guy named Brad, but yeah, it's my gig, and I help them book my Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights. So
it just happens when you get out there. Hey,
well,
it really does.
Developing relationships with people that like that you and I have, relationships that have substance.
Yeah.
So not just being nice to a manager because he's the manager, but like,
I've never done that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Find out how are his kids, how's his life, or how's the business go? Yeah. How can I help you with the business? Are you any good at social media?
Yeah.
You don't have a phone? Okay. Like, do you need someone that can help with your Instagram? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're their booking agent, or
100%.
Or you're
exactly.
their go-to.
And you learn the ropes and you make the connections, and you just like, so many of my friends, they did posters for gigs and stuff just because they had to. And now they're like graphic designers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Making heaps of cash. A lot of people doing photography are in that. They just started because like they had a camera lying around, so they would bring it down.
Yeah. And I think like the embracing of your strengths, the playing to your strengths. You described it as seeing potential paths before that you knew you couldn't go down or didn't want to go down.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I think this is sort of a bit of a give and take where, like, you need to. I would try to look at the areas that I was maybe going well in, and for me that was like the covers thing. I did well on a reality show, so I was like, okay, I did well interpreting this old song. Like, So maybe
totally
pull that rope a little bit. So listening to the universe, listening to the things that are going well, and go with them. Don't always fight them.
100%. Yeah. Wow.
I think we could maybe wrap it up there.
Very good.
What do you reckon? Is there
very cathartic.
Anything else you'd like to unload?
No, I think we'll probably have another one of these at some point.
Yeah, man. I think let's do a sequel in another 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, guys, this is Taras Hrubyj-Piper. If you want to follow him, how can people follow you?
I mean, I'm on Instagram, but I post like once every year, so don't even worry about that.
What's your handle?
Taras HP.
Taras T-A. Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll see it. You'll see how to spell it.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.